May 13th, 2016, Friday in the 7th week of Easter.
A reading from the Acts of the Apostles. King Agrippa and Bernice arrived in Caesarea on a visit to Festus. Since they spent several days there, Festus referred Paul's case to the king, saying, "There is a man here left in custody by Felix. When I was in Jerusalem, the chief priests and the elders of the Jews brought charges against him and demanded his condemnation. I answered them that it was not Roman practice to hand over an accused person before he has faced his accusers, and had the opportunity to defend himself against their charge. So when they came together here, I made no delay. The next day I took my seat on the tribunal and ordered the man to be brought in. His accusers stood around him, but did not charge him with any of the crimes I suspected. Instead, they had some issues with him about their own religion and about a certain Jesus who had died, but who Paul claimed was alive. Since I was at a loss how to investigate this controversy, I asked if he were willing to go to Jerusalem and there stand trial on these charges. And when Paul appealed that he be held in custody for the emperor's decision, I ordered him held until I could send him to Caesar." The word of the Lord.
The responsoral psalm, the response is, "The Lord has established his throne in heaven. Bless the Lord, O my soul, and all my being, bless his holy name. Bless the Lord, O my soul, and forget not all his benefits. The Lord has established his throne in heaven. For as the heavens are high above the earth, so surpassing is his kindness towards those who fear him. As far as the east is from the west, so far has he put our transgressions from us. The Lord has established his throne in heaven. The Lord has established his throne in heaven, and his kingdom rules over all. Bless the Lord, all you his angels, you mighty in strength, who do his bidding. The Lord has established his throne in heaven."
A reading from the Holy Gospel according to John. After Jesus had revealed himself to his disciples and eaten breakfast with them, he said to Simon Peter, "Simon, son of John, do you love me more than these?" Simon Peter answered him, "Yes, Lord, you know that I love you." Jesus said to him, "Feed my lambs." He then said to Simon Peter a second time, "Simon, son of John, do you love me?" Simon Peter answered him, "Yes, Lord, you know that I love you." He said to him, "Tend my sheep." He said to him the third time, "Simon, son of John, do you love me?" Peter was distressed that he had said to him a third time, "Do you love me?" And he said to him, "Lord, you know everything. You know that I love you." Jesus said to him, "Feed my sheep. Amen, amen, I say to you, when you were younger, you used to dress yourself and go where you wanted. But when you grow old, you will stretch out your hands, and someone else will dress you and lead you where you do not want to go." He said this, signifying by what kind of death he would glorify God. And when he had said this, he said to him, "Follow me." The Gospel of the Lord.
May 13th, Friday of the 7th week of Easter. The first reading is from Acts of the Apostles, chapter 25, verses 13b to 21. We hear about how King Agrippa and Bernice visit Festus, the Roman procurator, at Caesarea. Now, Caesarea is the capital of Roman authority. Festus is living there, and he is entertaining King Agrippa and Bernice, who are Jewish royalty. He decides to entertain them by telling them the story of Paul. He says that Felix, the previous procurator, had held him there for a couple years and had not brought him to trial. Now, the reason Felix did that was that he was seeking a bribe, and in fact, Felix would be removed as procurator for his corruption. Jewish leaders came down, and they only accused him of certain religious things concerning Jesus, who Paul claimed was still alive. In other words, Festus recognizes that there is no charge to be brought against Paul according to Roman law, and therefore he's not going to condemn him. Rather, he proposes that Paul be sent back to Jerusalem. Now, Paul is no fool. There's already been one plot to kill him. He realizes he'll never arrive at Jerusalem alive. So he appeals to the emperor for the emperor's decision. Once he does that, Paul has to be sent to Rome to be tried by the emperor. That is the law. Every Roman citizen, even a humble Roman citizen like Paul, who was born a Roman citizen because his father was Roman, most probably bought his citizenship. Every Roman citizen can appeal to the emperor for judgment, and that's what Paul does. The Gospel is from John 21, 15 to 19. After Jesus has arranged for the miraculous catch of fish, 153 fish, he asked Peter, "Do you love me?" 3 times. 3 times to remind Peter of the fact that he denied him 3 times, to give him the opportunity to heal that hurt, but also 3 times the superlative degree. He's asking Peter, "Do you love me with the most loving of love?" And Peter's response is, "Yes, Lord." Now, he asks him 3 times also to remind Peter that he's a sinner. He's calling Peter to be the shepherd of the sheep. Jesus is the good shepherd in the gospel. Now he's handing on that responsibility to Peter. Peter must lead the flock, but he must do it in terms not of power, but of love, of service. Peter responds 3 times, "Yes, I love you." And Jesus gives Peter that mandate to take care of the flock. When Jesus asks Peter 3 times, "Do you love me?" he uses different words for love. There are 3 words in Greek for love: eros, which means physical love; phileo, friendship; and agape, total giving. Jesus asked Peter the first time, "Do you agape me?" Peter's response, "I phileo you." So notice it's at a different level of response. "Do you love me with a total love?" The response, "You're my buddy." Second time, "Do you agape me?" Second response, "I phileo you." Third time Jesus says, "Do you phileo me? Are you my buddy?" Peter responds, "I'm your buddy." Notice, Jesus takes Peter where he's at. Peter is not the beloved disciple. He's not capable of agape. Jesus takes the phileo, that which Peter can give. At the same time, it's a reminder to the community that those who are in charge of the community are not perfect. That when the Pope is choosing a new bishop for a diocese, he doesn't necessarily choose a great mystic. He chooses somebody who can organize the diocese. Likewise, Peter, not perfect, but nevertheless named to be head of the church. And then at the end of the account, we hear how Jesus predicts the passion of Peter. Remember, Peter would die as a martyr in Rome. He would be crucified, and he asked specifically to be crucified upside down because he didn't feel that he deserved to be crucified as Jesus had died. The prediction is that Peter would glorify God, show his love for God, by submitting to being dragged away, to being martyred in a way that he didn't expect. When he was young, he could go where he will, but when he's old, they'll take you to places that you didn't expect. That's the prediction. And for the early Christian community, which has already seen the martyrdom of Peter, it's the idea that Peter's death was not an accident, it was not a mistake, but rather a fulfillment of the plan of God. And this is one thing we have to keep in mind, that God has a plan for each of us. We don't know exactly how specific that plan is, but God does intend for us to give witness to his love. And may God bless us.